All right, greetings. There we go. Greetings, family. I am grateful to have this opportunity to be in the studios today, and I'm excited about this particular show, which is one of my new shows, and it's called Voices That Care. And we talk about reentry, and we also talk about mental wellness. So, we want to thank you for tuning in to Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour gospel music and radio station, amongst others. Yaza de Conscience Soul with Sister Mellow brings to you every first Saturday of the month from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. the Cafe Le Blue Lounge, where there are 15 to 45-minute segments called The Corner. Each corner has a blueprint that is unique of its own. So we always ask you to vibe out to fireside chats and be inspired by affirmations and inspirational messages. The first part of the corner could be on the Cafe Le Blue Lounge, the Artist Talk. This is where we showcase musicians, poets, singers, dancers, film producers, author, comedians, gospel and R&B rappers from around the Bay Area to across the globe. They share their creative process and their lived experience. That's the first part of the corner, which could be. The second part of it could be Why I Dream. We highlight and honor the inventions and creative work of today's brilliant mind, along with geniuses from our past. We are preserving African American history and culture in order to keep our legacy alive. The other part of the corner could be She Who Believes Takes Off the Mask. This is where we hear from individuals sharing their personal testimonies to what the Lord has done and is doing in their lives, which are inspirational messages. Also, we are highlighting golden lights affirmations to impart healing medicine in the soul of the brilliant minds today. Every second Saturday of the month is Education is the Best Medicine. And this is with Mr. George Pearson, founder and producer of Education is the Best Medicine. This is where you will listen to the Medicine Hour. This is where we believe we believe building a better tomorrow starts with us. Topics we cover: health issues and concerns, healthy eating habits, education, financing, and politics in the African American community. We believe taking care of our temple, mind, and spirit is essential to having mental wellness, healthy eating habits, and knowing that healthy thinking leads to a healthy way of living. Every third Saturday of the month is Education is the Best Medicine with the host, founder, and producer of Education is the Best Medicine, Mr. George Y. Pearson. Education is the Best Medicine is a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization, which is a community-based health, educational, advocacy-based, and resource-based organization that uses public media resources, radio, newspapers, and church-based community health fairs to provide health information and education. We believe the vision is the art of seeing things yet unseen and bringing light to a very dark world. Every fourth Saturday of the month with my co-host, the Doc, the Prince of Hearts, and the Voice. This is where we will highlight and encourage the youth and young adult, Straight Talk Youth and Young Adult radio show that we bring in individuals that talk about hot topics with real conversations, individuals, community organizers, leaders, business owners from around the Bay Area and across the globe. And again, today you have tuned into our fifth Saturday of the month, which is called Voices That Care. And we're here to let you know that voices matter. And we talk about the reentry and mental wellness. Boy, it was a mouthful, but hey, you got to pay the bills and you got to get through that. So I want to share today. Our theme is my mental matters. And I have an distinguished guest in here today with me. I'm so grateful and thankful to have the opportunity to have met her. And we're sisters and we kicked it off and we like, let's go. So I'm grateful to have Ida Shibiru here from the California Black Women's Health Project. And I just want to say that, again, I'm thankful and grateful to have this opportunity to have you in. My shows is about not only uplifting the work that folks do in the community, but the people behind the scenes. And that's why I don't give out beforehand information, because it's on, to me, being your authentic self and being in the moment is important for us to do. And there's so many shows that's out there that just, but that's not me. That's not Sistah B. Mellow. Never been me, never will be me. And I'm grateful to, again, have this opportunity. So what I would like for you to do is definitely introduce yourself. Tell me about your family, because we like to say and give kudos to them, because if it wasn't for our families that we standing on today, we wouldn't be here. So I always will make sure that we honor whomever it is and just say thank you and shout out their names, because like I know you wasn't on the radio and didn't say who we were. So share your first name and your last name again, and then say hello to some family members.
No problem. Well, thank you so much for having me, Ms. Barbara. My name is Ida Shibiru, and I'm a program coordinator of mental health initiatives for California Black Women's Health Project.
Right on.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I was grew up right here in the Bay Area
Hey,
my whole life. Yes.
Okay.
My family is Ethiopian, and so when my mom came here and raised me, we were in North Oakland, the community I was in. I was always in a very Black environment, like my community, and be it the education that we learn, you see the difference between how certain, mental health topics or resources and stuff. And I would see, I go to school and I see something different when I come home and my community and things like that. Right. And so fortunately, I've always been a big, book nerd and all those fun stuff. Yeah. And I was interested in medicine. Mm-hmm. And when I went to college, I was in a pre-med degree. I went to University of Oregon, and there I was like, something bothering me. I was like, something is off. Oregon is a predominantly white institution, and so as a Black woman, it's in STEM,
and a young Black woman at that.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I had to come up. There's certain expectations of me being, othered in the room. Mm-hmm. But it bothered me that not only was I the only person in the room, the things that we're learning about mental health, body health, weren't quite understanding of us, our cultural identity. And so then I'm like, okay, I got to find a bridge that gap and all of that. So I got an ethnic studies minor degree. And when I left college, I'm looking up all types of groups, organizations. Who can I get in with that understands the health needs of Black women and Black people in general? Because obviously it's not just women in my family as well, in my community. That's right.
And don't forget to give kudos to them too.
Okay. And my family, my mom definitely raised me.
Mom, thank you.
Did all that she could, figuring things out. Yeah. My sisters played an instrumental role, especially my older sisters.
You got to say their names now. You got to give out the names.
I got to give my older sisters, who will definitely check in on this, Zacham and Layla. Okay. They helped guide me. They were those Black women that helped pour into me, provided me a safe space. Thank you. Provided me a safe space growing up. Let me know things are okay, life lessons, all of that. And even to this day. So what my org does is we have many advocacy training programs, and that helps build that mental health gap. Because we hear about, how type 2 diabetes and cholesterol and a lot of other the physical things are running rampant, but people don't realize how that connects to our mental wellness, and how, similar to many statistics, there's big disparities for us as well. And so my path, fortunately, in the last year of my degree, my anthropology concentration helped me bridge those things, the gaps. Our reality that we live socially, and how that bridges our physical health. And for us culturally, even then you learn even further that spirituality does play such a big role.
Major role.
Okay, I grew up in a very Christian household, Me too. I went to Catholic school as well to make sure Jesus and all of that were involved. But But I don't think I leaned fully into like my faith until having gone through education and lived experience it and seeing how like, you know, that played in your mental health. Yes. And so now like where I'm at now, you know, finally in this position, I get the opportunity to educate people on the range of mental health. Like we're not crazy. And funny enough,
our mental matters. And this is what the theme is. Exactly. My mental matters. Yes, it does. Go ahead.
Exactly. Unfortunately, so we actually have our Sisters Mentally Mobilized, which is a mental health advocacy training program through a sister circle model. So both
I do those women, all the time.
You feel me? So
y'all call me.
They pour.
Have me do a workshop for you.
They pour the way, you know, we trying to pour into our communities. We want to pour back into ourselves as well. And those programs, it makes all the difference. And so for me, I realized, okay, that's honestly what helped me get through college was having my sisters around. Like I didn't have many Black women in pre-med, but I did have, you know, we're sprinkled and we're small. So we made that community. We ended up unofficially not even realizing what it was, having those sister circles. And then you move, life moves on, and you see it lacking and you see the consequences in your life. And so I'm very blessed to say like where I'm at now, like the opportunity for my job, you know, I get to educate and re-educate and
walking in your purpose.
Exactly. I feel so aligned with my purpose. And I am honestly relatively new to the org. The org itself, we're actually celebrating.
But you're not new to
this work.
Yes. Because your spirit and how you were brought up and what God placed and aligned you to do and all the things that you went through was for this.
Absolutely.
So that's how I believe, and I'm quite sure you believe things is that was my purpose of making sure that folks understood and know the person behind the work.
Yes.
And just not the actual work. We give our credit to our organizations and all that, because I work for NAMI Contra Costa.
Yes, and how we got connected.
Yes, and that's how we got connected.
But what brought us there?
Yes, what brought us there and what's brought us right here today through the African American Uplift Program. So I have the opportunity, I am the outreach coordinator for it, and just being able to share the work that we do, you know, the circles and the groups. We have a faith group, grief support, and then we live in with a purpose, and then the African American support group, and the men of wellness and faith support group, and then we have a young women support group and a young men support group. So you know, these organizations, just as well as yours, is utilizing lived experience, African American approach, and community buying strategies. You know, this is what our team is built up of, and we navigate our paths through living with mental illness and some not. With our loved ones and folks that's incarcerated and, you know, food, insecurities and veterans and all of that. So they can also tap into NAMI Contra Costa to pull up the work that we're doing alone. But I have this saying with, and I share this all the time with folks, I'm not about competition, I'm about collaboration. So how do we collaborate? Yeah. Because there's enough for everybody's lane. And if your lane that's your lane, I'm good at you. Hey, I'm cool. Absolutely. If that's your lane over there, I'm good. How do we collaborate? How do we work together? And how do we build? Because this is what we're supposed to be doing for our community. Absolutely. And I'm so grateful for you stepping up and reaching, you know, typing me and say, hey, can I learn more about the organization? Yeah. And that was the 40 Voices Heard. And with that 40 Voices Heard, we have the opportunity, have been granted $1 million to start the program in Antioch, you know, an African American mental wellness, Dorhammer's African American Wellness Resource Center. For our people, and starting in Antioch. So to have the opportunity to do that, and folks are catching on board and knowing that we need to make sure that our mental is addressed. You know, so absolutely. I commend your organization, and we will be doing a whole lot of things together because I am a firm believer of this is divine time, divine order. God will bring you together for a reason. It's up to you to figure out why. You know, how do we work together as a team to do what we need to do for our communities? And that's me. I'm community. People that know me, know Miss B, know Miss Howard, know I'm about community. And I want to thank my parents Wendy's Cheesecake Bakery in San Francisco for being, that's how I'm in communities, us having our own bakery in the city and being over there. Our parents was 4 of the oldest African-American businesses in San Francisco. So, there was connected and there was a lot of individuals. Our bakery wasn't just for services. It was also a fill-up station because my mom would have her Bible out on top of the counter, not pushing anything, but people will come and they will read it, the scripture, whatever. And then they would start telling my mom or sharing with her about their lives. She was able to and pour into them just as well as the sister circles. So I come from that. And my father always made sure that we took care of our community. He said, not only that this business is for us to get our means and things to take care of our responsibilities. However, our responsibilities is also for our community. And he was big on that. Mr. Howard didn't play that mess. He shared with us. He did not matter if a customer came in there from a penny to billions of dollars. He made sure that we treated everybody the same.
Absolutely.
So with that, all being said, is that's what I was saying about the collaboration and the work of us making sure this is all in alignment. Our ancestors, and I tell people this all the time too, they say, we did our part. What are you going to do? And this is my part. How I'm able to bring in individuals and share who they are and share about their organizations, their aspirations, their dreams. So I got some things I'm going to ask you in order. But however, so finish telling me again about the family upbringing. How I know mom and grandma and whomever that played the role as that phenomenal woman, because this is Women's History Month and we're closing it out.
Absolutely.
So those women, you also came to our Phenomenal Woman event. Thank you. That happened last a couple Fridays, March 22nd. At Joyce Gordon Gallery. It was our 11th annual, and I've collaborated with HHREC, the Black Women's Media and Wellness Project. So I'm grateful and thankful to have, this will be our 3rd year of them collaborating with us. This particular project, and we do a inspirational women, inspiring women, inspirational event, and it's called Spa Day / Be Still Retreat. So we love on the women, and so you'll be a part of that too. But however, the phenomenal women that played a role in your life, who were they?
Oh, I'm happy to talk about it. I think off the top of my head, when you say that, is would be my mom, my aunt, and my 2 older sisters. Those 4 women were instrumental in, I guess, who I am today.
Yes.
And I think what's really interesting with my mom and my aunt is seeing how, once you get the mental health education, things you've experienced, but you didn't realize what it was and the names for it, you realize that they did what many Black women are known to do. They step up, they do the job, they do what's needed, but you see them being everything for everyone else.
Come on now.
And
come on now.
And doing everything. You feel me? Like my mom, I'm not gonna lie, it's an amazing, like, us being, our 1-bedroom apartment in downtown.
And see,
you know what I mean? North Oakland.
This is what I'm talking about. Speaking true. Give me a high five, girl.
Okay, because I want to
know the
that.
real.
Exactly.
We gotta speak to it because our family, our community is going through this. Go ahead.
Go from there to being like, I want to make sure that even if I'm not in the best area, I gotta make sure my daughters have that education so they get a chance. Like my sisters being, so when I'm younger, they're 7 and 10 years older. And so when I'm little, they were more my babysitters. Then it transitioned to being my friend, that person to lean on, that if times are rough, like that shoulder to cry on kind of thing, when the authority figures like mom, a little scarier. And my aunt was the same way. She was like my second mom. So while my mom's figuring things out, like, she's picking up, teaching life lessons, while my mom's trying to work to get, like, bigger space, make sure our education is great and all these different things. And I would say like the strength aspect, the resiliency, and then also picking up, like, I distinguish those 2 people, but my auntie community is, large, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, I had the blessing that the Catholic school that I went to was I went to St. Leo in Oakland, which is, pretty small. I was with the same like 20 or 30 kids, but it was my class with a group, mostly Black students who grew up together, and their parents, the networks that we had, same kind of extended family, like more than you would expect. And seeing how like that community aspect, like that's something I was always a part of. Like our principal was a big AKA involved into that her day, so the events, community events, the outreach things, like I knew how I felt when I went there. And, I can speak to it now and, say that that's, the God light, the fulfillment, the purpose, the alignment. I think at the time I didn't realize I was the feeling until now in my adulthood. And it started off in college, actually, since Oregon being primarily white school and state. I was like, oh, crap, now I have to like, this is something new for me, like I have never really experienced that. And so the opportunities that would come about, be it with BSU, mind you, I was in college when Trump was elected. And so that ignited an entirely different resurgence of that community aspect. Yes. And so while we're having the hardest time, like stress for our physical safety in that state, actually, on the flip side, the bittersweet aspect is the beauty that came out of like those connections, like us helping each other, us standing together as this, I think it was 2% Black students at Oregon at the time, but we came together, like with the community, with others around. And that paired with, my actual education, letting me know what exactly occurred in this country for the past 100 years, let me know like, oh, it's us. We have to pick each other up. Like we can't wait. We can't just continue to be angry at the laws that people will not change. You know what I mean? And we've already, that's what the Black Panthers party did. It's like, okay, we know y'all, you're not doing it, coming, you ain't gonna come. Exactly. We're gonna step in and take care of our community. Go ahead. Exactly. So I'm still very passionate about medicine. Actually, I do plan on attending medical school. Yeah. But sometime towards the end of my undergrad, I finally all came together. I was like, okay, you like science, you like health, and you are big on community. Yeah. So I'm going to take all my education, degrees, experience, resources, and I would like to open a not holistic wellness, but physical wellness, to branch the mental and physical health aspects together. Yeah. Yes. A lot of people don't realize. Oh, I'm with you. The way we live is directly correlated to our physical health and our mental health is directly correlated to the world around us. Like, be it job, I have somebody that I'm going to connect to you to that help plant gift seeds for African-American women or women of color to start their own businesses and things like that. So love that. I have a sister that I'm going to introduce you to. But see, this is what. So that's how I got here. Pretty much, I found California Black Women's Health Project. See, amazing staff of women. Where it's pretty small, honestly. There's not a huge staff, but we cover work all across the state. And so, speaking with them, hearing of the work that they do, I was so excited. I'm like, me? You want to hire me? Yay! Thank God. This is you need me because this is what I want to do too. Exactly. And now, so here I am today. Now, I was earlier today actually inviting many Black women to our info session for our Sisters Mentally Mobilized advocacy training program. Okay. So, and that will be on April 7th in downtown Oakland at Oak Stops Broadway Gallery from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And all the information and details about the training session will occur there. But a little, I guess, overview. How can they get in contact with you? You can email me. Okay. Or you can email me, IDA, at cabwhp.org. And the name of the organization again? California Black Women's Health Project. Pull it up, people. Yes. So we are statewide. So be it if you are in the Bay Area, have family in Sacramento, LA, IE, the work we do, the partnerships we have do expand all of that. And so we do events, we deal with education, policy making, we have our hand in all of that because we're trying to bridge that gap. With the policy, do you have any bills coming up that you guys are working on? I know our maternal and reproductive health team has a little bit more information on it, but with all of the reproductive rights issues going on, we're doing a lot of campaigning for women's rights, know, and yes. And so our director, Raina Granberry, she's been with the org for a minute and there's a lot of, interviews, discussions where she will let you know what's going on, the work we've been doing. She keeps it real. And that's what we do here on. I was trying to find the right way to say it. I was like, keep it real. I was like, how can I let you know? But that team in regards to the reproductive rights are definitely on the grounds doing things. My mental health initiative team, with Prop 1.
Yeah, tell me about that.
With
That's
Prop,
what,
exactly. So right now it's a really interesting place because with Prop 1 being passed, a lot of things haven't been defined as to how they affect as Black women and Black people. Well, what does that mean for our resources?
I was going to say, can you tell people about Proposition 1?
I can give a little bit. Yes.
Just a little bit.
No problem. So, So Proposition 1 is regards to the housing crisis, and a lot of that will affect the funding that's already existed for the mental health resources. And so previously when I believe 63, when it passed, that was what gave us funding, so that's what for Sisters Mentally Mobilized, our funding comes from the California Reducing Disparities Project. And it's a part of the phase 2 where we came up with a culturally defined evidence-based practice or program. Okay. So this training program.
Ms. Gigi Crowder talks about that all the time.
Yes, exactly. And so
evidence-based, yes, and lived experience.
Exactly. And that's
what shapes our community and how we heal.
Exactly. Because that's what bothered me in academia, pretty much. I'm in academia and I'm saying, okay, yeah, the chemistry stuff makes sense. The math stuff makes sense. But now you're telling me that these behavioral things or expectations or certain things, and I'm like, that doesn't align with my experience. Like that. That's why
we have to be at the table.
I even had, I think, what it really stood out to me in college when I went to the counseling center. I was like, I'm stressed. Let me see about getting a therapist.
Right.
And I got someone.
And there's nothing wrong with it, people.
Yeah.
Come on, that's everybody. We have to. We do therapy all day.
Stigma. Exactly.
And we do therapy all day when you're on the phone talking to your girlfriend.
Absolutely.
Or your mom or your dad or your cousin, whomever. That's therapy.
Exactly. And if anything, that helped me pour into the ones that existed in my real life, realizing that you can't get too caught up in your crap and realize that the world around you. Right. But I did have, I think my first therapist was not, a Black woman. And while, I did find a little bit of value in it, I definitely felt not heard. And I didn't feel like what this was supposed to be doing, it wasn't doing for me. And I'm like, what's missing? That one, she actually happened to leave the school. So they got me a new person who happened to be, her name is actually Dr. Nikki Cherry. And she comes from, St. Lucia, I believe. But Black woman, educated, has, her psychology degree. And when I tell you, I felt so of I was like, oh, I'm imposter syndrome.
The African American Wellness Hub, Resource Center will be. It's needed.
It pours into
it's needed in every city.
I agree.
All over the world.
Fully agree.
We should have it. So yeah, we should have it, and we should. Why not?
Exactly.
Why
It's
not?
funny you mentioned that. So actually, this year is the 30th anniversary for California Black Women's Health Project, and so we're doing lots of stuff in celebration of that and recognition of it. And one of those is actually called Sisters at the Well, because the org, mini origin story, is it was branched off of, at the time, the National Black Women's Health Alliance, I believe, now Black Women's Health Imperative, incorporated in 97. So 94 is when it started. But back in 94, the small group of women that got together and found and made this happen, they created a self-help resource center in the ground floor of a low-income housing projects in, I want to say Inglewood, but let's just say LA area because I'm not familiar with geography. And through that, provided resources to over 6,000 women in the community, conducted a study for the state, and they did the mobilization. Like they did that. And so in celebration of the Well, from way back, so that's what the community center was called, the Well. We're doing Sisters at the Well event and multiple 30th anniversary events. We'll be hosting sister community brother circles throughout the state. So please, follow our media, check out our website. We'll have information about that. One of our larger 30th anniversary celebration events is coming up on May 4th in Sacramento. And it's Women Who Dare, a Time to Care affair, I believe. Oh, excuse me, I do get a little tongue-tied.
And me too. You heard me earlier. But this is the real. So we live.
Yeah, so at this event, we're going to be, like you were just saying, shedding light and pouring some love and recognition onto the women who have been doing the work, like in the community in Northern California for this one event. So top 30th event, May 4th. Feel free to check out our Instagrams and social medias or our website. We'll have more info on that. But we're really... letting everyone know like the work that we've been doing and the people that have been doing the work as well. Like we deserve that recognition and we want it to continue. I mean,
I do at this moment too have to highlight and shout out the Bay Area Black psychologists. That's my resources. That's my village.
Amazing.
And then HHREC with Executive Director Ms. Talia Bennett, and of course Nami Contra Costa, Miss Gigi Crowder. So just to highlight and to uplift those organizations that's in the African American, the BH Brilliant Minds Project Inc., which is my nonprofit, and we do Sisters Let's Talk. So our circles is what it is actually called, Sisters Let's Talk, for the women and for the men. So to highlight just the organizations that's really out there on ground floor, and the Homies Empowerment, Freedom School, and Dr. Cesar Cruz and Dr. Jazzy Cruz, just giving out shout outs to the folks that's in my village and in my community that's doing the work. And oh my God, my sister Marlene Sanchez from Ella Baker Center here in Oakland, California. So, and we just have so many folks and organizations that's just doing the work. Is just absolute. And Latifah Simon. So just it's crazy, amazing. Just absolutely amazing. The folks that's doing this work here in our communities. But go ahead. I didn't mean to stop you, but I had to just.
No, you are all good, because I'm saying the same thing. We have all these things going on where we're really trying to shed light and highlight and but continue to fortify and empower our community, because especially with, outside of the Black community specifically, in general, the state of the world, the US, it's a crazy time, like, be it economically,
yes, it is,
environmentally, like job wise, it's a crazy time.
It is really crazy,
right? And so I think
if your faith, Lord have mercy, I'm telling you, if my faith, this is your interview, but I tell you not, the Lord knows what he's doing, but I trust him dearly. And I know if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today. There's so many things that I can say with my mental wellness. And this theme is called Voices That Matter, but the theme is called My Mental Matters Too. And I'm saying, if it was not for my faith, I would not be sitting in this chair today. I will be dead, or just, I know this. I know this, and I have to give the Lord my kudos, because I tell you, oh my God.
I completely agree with you. And that's one of the things that, is discussed. We did a community-based profile prior to the Sisters Mentally Mobilized. So, so phase 1 of the CRD, California Reducing Disparities Project, was actually us gathering information. Let's figure out, what do we need, know? And spirituality was one of the biggest things that was culturally defined. The evidence is there.
Even in the circle, what is the oh God, the actual charts that they have, and I can't think of it. You know what I'm talking about? The spin wheel, and
the major aspects of
life. People normally do not tap into the spirituality part, which plays a major role in our lives. And I can talk about spirituality on my radio show, because this is my personal radio show, even though I'm the founder and the coordinator of the Oakland Juneteenth, and the founder and the coordinator of BH Brilliant Minds Project Inc., which is my nonprofit. This is separate.
Absolutely.
This is totally separate from what I can do as an individual. This is my time. This is my mental thing. This is what I love to do. As I said earlier, is that I can, I'm not intertwining. I mean, but it's still,
I think it is intertwined. It is.
Can somebody
and
tell
so
me
as somebody who is both in STEM and in mental health, these are two things that people love to believe don't mix with faith at all.
And it does.
And it does. Well, it does. Like I said, for me, that's my belief.
That's my belief too.
It can for those that don't understand that. And so
that's right.
I think that's not I think, but I know this is definitely one of the things that we also try to do with our programs. We're trying to destigmatize that.
Yes.
God and your mental health can work hand in hand. Your belief system, your spirituality, be it God, be it Buddha, be it whatnot. Like mental health is a health thing. You know what I mean? It's a little separate, and separate in the sense of what it is definition wise, but they work all together. Like, you know, that groundingness, that alignment. Like for me, I think if anything, I saw more successful or a more healthier mental health status when I think bridge that so much equal priorities, as opposed to having this separate, like, oh, I'm gonna go to therapy and journal. Journal about what? You know what I mean? Like there is and so it's
keep it real.
You know, yeah. And so it's definitely, and that's another thing. It's a culturally defined thing. Like many Black people, be it, you don't gotta be Christian or Baptist or this or that, but a lot of us do believe in something, and it helps to understand that
a higher power. Higher power. I know who I called
to work on your mental health. You know what I mean?
I know who I called on and came in and helped me. So that's all I can speak to. It's like, and I don't argue with people about spirituality and religion and all that, because religion killed Jesus personal. Anyway. But it's like, I know who helped me, and I'm like, if that helped you, hey, I mean,
absolutely. And that's the only thing I ever have to say about it as well, because I believe like religion, spirituality is so personal. But what you're not going to tell me is that it can't exist together, because that's one thing for sure. Like I said, I'm a big chemistry and evolutionary medicine was my thing. And you know, like
you said it, because look, we have a head, we have a body, so and soul. So how are you going to help me with my body? But it's a test.
You can't tell me that one doesn't. Yeah, it's everyone's journey. It's what I like to call it. It's a journey. You got to figure that out, feel that on your own. You know, however that speaks to your soul or alignment. I was speaking with a friend about that not too long ago, and it's like a lot
because of people you can't take your body. If you take your head away, then what your body is gonna your mind tells your body what to do. So you can't separate it. And that's all I'm saying.
Where do you think your feelings come from? Like, you know, like there's a lot of, they do branch together. And mental health, I don't think people give it enough credit for it being an actual health discipline. You know, like it is something that needs to be addressed, can fall off, something that, you know, it's health, you know, it's a form of health. It requires extra things to keep it going and maintain it. That's the word I was looking for, to maintain it. And so I know with what I'm doing, that I'm so excited and happy. Like all the community events that we've discussed. On one hand, I look at my calendar and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so busy. It's a good busy. And I've attended to the work, people doing the work that understand that significant, like the phenomenal women panel.
Thank you.
Brought my roommate with me, and we both were just like, you know, I know that this is speaking to us, you know, especially as young women. Like I know I'm in pre-medicine and she's pre-law actually. And so
I got to meet her.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I have something for y'all. I have some connections for y'all.
You know, and so that's another
we'll
thing.
Have her come on the show
we
too.
Connect everybody with one another. I know even myself, like my friends are telling me, oh, tell me about your new job kind of thing. It's only been a few months. And I'm like, we have opportunities for you. Like, you know, like give me your card. Like we need this kind of business thing. And all of it, I think, goes back to, I think when we support one another in the community, it then ultimately supports us as individuals. Like, so community work does trickle down to me as an individual. Like, I'm glad everyone thinks I'm a nice person by doing all these things, but also I benefit from this directly, like as well.
Speak the truth. And that, like I said before, that's why I want to get to know the person behind the work. And we don't call it work. I call it the assignment. Because we're on our purpose, right? It's an assignment, and what we're supposed to do. Ooh, Lord, I need to pay the bills. Thank you for tuning in to Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel music station, amongst others. Every first Saturday of the month, you have the Cafe La Blue Lounge, which is the artist talk. Why I Dream, She Who Believes, Take Off the Mask. And that is with my co-host, Mr. Rose Resenity. And you'll see him next week. Every second Saturday of the month is the Medicine Hour with Mr. George Pearson. This is where we believe building a better tomorrow starts with us. And we talk about health issues and concerns and healthy eating habits and education, financing, and politics in the African-American community. And then every third Saturday of the month is Education is the Best Medicine, where Mr. George Pearson, he is the doc. He comes in and he's a physician assistant. So he talks about everything that has something to do with our whole body, mind, spirit. And then we have the Lights Out Straight Talk Youth and Young Adult Radio Show that happens every fourth Saturday of the month from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. And then I have my co-host, Mr. We have the Doc, and that's Mr. Diego Rodriguez. And then we have the Voice, Mr. Chance. And then we have the Prince of Hearts, and that's Mr. Kiani Johnson, Mr. KJ. So then every fifth Saturday of the month, you have the Voices That Care host, Ms.Barbara Howard, aka Sistah B. Mellow. And on this particular show, we highlight the voices that matter. We highlight reentry and mental wellness. So I'm so grateful and thankful to have Miss Ida that's here in the studios with me today from the California Black Women's Health Project. And we're just highlighting My Mental Matters. So we are here encouraging and sharing resources and information. So, and again, we want to thank you to our community, that folks that tapped in and that's listening to the show today. Please make sure that you get Miss Ida's information. That way you can keep up with not only her organization, but my nonprofit. We are getting ready to celebrate our 17th year annual Juneteenth celebration, the Oakland's Juneteenth celebration and street festival on Saturday, June the 22nd, 2024. Please mark your calendars. I will say that again. It is our 17th annual Oakland Juneteenth celebration and street festival that happens in West Oakland on the corner of Market and 32nd and San Pablo and 32nd. So please come out and join us on that free activity for our community. We highlight, we encourage, we motivate, we inspire. We have community wellness sections of the center. We have local vendors, we have food, and we have entertainment. So please mark your calendars to bring your families out to that event. And it's going to be, we close out the Juneteenth in the Bay Area, and it's Saturday, June the 22nd. The nonprofit that you can pull up and get more resources and information is BH Brilliant Minds Project Inc. And it means Begin Healing Brilliant Minds Project Inc. So please pull us up. And again, you can follow Miss Ida, your information.
Yes. So I'm not the biggest person on social media, but our social media, you're welcome.
No, it can be email, however. Look, no problem. I'm not a big person on social media either. Okay. I try to gotta do a little bit of. But yes, problem. How can they get in contact with you? Your contact information.
You're welcome to shoot me an email at ida@cabwhp.org. So
can you say it again?
Yes, ida@cabwhp.org. And you can find more information about the work that we're doing in the org as well on our website, which would be cabwhp.org. And so if any individuals, community members are interested in doing something, you need help getting your idea that might be aligned with, mental health, physical health, maternal health. If you have an idea that you want to try to bring to life and you might need the help to find resources or anything like that, please reach out. We're branching all the time with varieties and different levels of partnerships. And like you were saying, it's all about collaboration. And so
not competition, people.
Amen.
It's not about
We're
competition.
all trying to help us all rise up.
Right.
And so
come on.
Please reach out. I'm more than happy to, connect people with the rest of my org or other groups, other resources, other individuals. We really only will get to where we want and where we need by lifting each other up. And
That's right. Not tearing each other down, but lifting each other up.
Exactly. And please, if you'd love to, if you're able and you're available in the Bay Area, Oakland area, April 7th, we will be in downtown Oakland at Oak Stops Broadway Gallery. I wish I knew the number if my head, but when you look up Oak Stop Broadway Gallery, yes, it'll be there 1 to 4 p.m. We'll have all the information about updates, questions, the background on the program, and the results. This is something that is effective, and we've seen it happen. This isn't the first training session. This is actually, I believe, our 10th group that we've trained. So we've trained over 150 women throughout the state and have seen them bring what we teach them back into their communities, to their families.
God. See, is it a free event?
Yes, it's free. It absolutely is free.
Wow.
Granted, the rest of the year we will be having 30th anniversary fundraising events. So if you check out our website or Instagram, would also be California Black Women's Health Project. We'll have all those different things. But the info session, yes, is free. It is in. Please come get some information. Ideally, we'd love for people to apply for the program as well, Sisters Mentally Mobilized. But in addition to that, it'll give you information about the org as well and different things that you can get involved in as an individual. Or if you like I said, you do something and you want to bring it to the community and you need help doing that, please come figure it out. And if you want to meet other Black women that are also interested in that community building aspect, please come through. Please holla at you, girl. I'm happy to talk to you. Please.
Well, and thank you for sharing that information. But now I want to talk about a little bit more about you too. Yeah. So what do you see? We crossed. I'm going to cross off my questions and things that I wanted to ask you. So we talked about the intro of the family, your passion, because we talked about that, and what brought you to the work and the organization. We talked about that. But I do want to ask you a question. For the future, what are you wanting for the future? And you talked about what you wanted to create yourself, but give me something about what are you looking for the future? What would you like?
It's funny you asked that. It is. I have the most untraditional past, and what I want to do is for other people that are interested in medicine seems very odd. It's a very different thing. So kind of from what I discussed earlier, I went into school with a biology pre-med. That's what they accepted me under, right? Very standard, to get to medical school. My plan was, college, medical school, cool.
Right.
But once I went through my path in college, I actually changed my major like 2 or 3 times.
And that's okay.
No, and it was within pre-medicine actually each time.
Gotcha.
But each discipline in science was getting me closer and closer to like what I wanted, right? And at the end, when I decided, so I ended up graduating it with multidisciplinary sciences, concentrating in chemistry.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And biological anthropology. So biological anthropology is what opened the door for me of social determinants of health. Yes. So that's what let me know, okay, this is how the things around me are translating into the health, into the medicine, into the science. I was like, okay, good to know. I said, okay, so what do we do? I was like, okay, Ida, like these kind of things are more than the individual, more than just science. Like you need to understand community. You need to understand public health, So I was like, do I want to do a master's of public health? I don't know this. Unfortunately, I've had my own doctors who are very supportive of my life path. So they were like, do it when you're in medical school. And I'm like, okay. So I wrote off this whiteboard, right? And so I was like, ultimately, I was like, Ida, that you're the body parts, even how medicine is specialized with separate everything. Those doctors, a lot of specialists are very arrogant. They'll only know about their own discipline. Like dermatologists will be very obsessed with skin, while, nephrologists are obsessed with kidney. And a lot of the time things are overlapping, like the way your kidney functions is connected to other portions of your body, connected to your brain and connected to your hormones, like everything's connected. And so that being said, then the other layer, realizing that the studies that exist don't include us in our context. I was like, okay.
Can you just say that again?
Yes. So the current studies in education do not discuss and do not include. So, there's even outdated medical books that still discuss our quote unquote higher pain tolerance. Please, that's not a thing. Okay. And different things like that. And why certain statistics that come from cultural things, you know what I mean? People try to say, oh, it's soul food. And that's why no, that's not why cholesterol rates are high. Actually, it's about a lot of other things like education, like location, food deserts. It's not. So all of exactly.
This is the information that is so needed in our community.
It needs to be educated. It needs to be out more.
That's why George have education is the best medicine. We'll have you on that show too. We have a few other shows.
It is all connected and important. And like the amount of articles that I've read, the amount of literature, books, all of like my science classes that then I could, okay, I'm like, those are how that's connected. That makes sense. Ultimately, I was like, okay, Ida, you can't do everything. Yeah. Obviously, I can't. I can only be a doctor.
Like me. Barbara, you can't do everything.
Yeah, I was like, if I want to be a doctor, but I can still only pick one specialty at the end of the day. I was like, what can I do? And so on this whiteboard, as I was planning out, I was like, this is what I'm interested in, the starting point. I was like, this is the degree I'm getting. Social determinants of health mean a lot to me. Ultimately, I would love to open a holistic.
You're going to.
I am.
Open.
Yes, I am.
You're
I am
going
working
to open.
towards.
There we go.
Thank you. I'm working towards opening a Black health co-op. And that way making the health resources we need and the people we need more accessible. Like my own, like I needed a specialist, right? And I, out of my experiences, I was like, let me go to someone familiar with Black women with this condition.
Yes.
There were only 2 or 3 in the state. And then the wait lists for them. So I'm traveling hours. And so all the time, like, anytime things get tough, they're like, we need more people in the health field. And I'm like, okay, but how? So then it told me, I was like, okay, end game. Make it more accessible. I want to be skilled, get this education, do what I need to do, and then make it so that mothers, fathers, grandkids can go, go to the pediatrician or go to the dermatologist and go to nutritionist or the little things that we have the hardest time accessing. Easy, make it more accessible. So ultimately I'm working towards opening a Black health co-op. And what's so nice is with the wellness centers coming about, that's like the first step. And so I was super excited to come to the 40th Uplift. We got the invitation was sent to, I think, our CEO who sent it to me and was like,
Look, you need
sure
to
go here. Yeah. And I'm over here and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such an alignment. Fortunately, the org as well is working to opening more wellness centers and addressing more health. And so I do feel like, as we said earlier, I'm in alignment because this whole path was definitely interesting.
African American Holistic Wellness Hub in Antioch, California. The 40 Voices lifted it up. We need more resources, people. We need more collaboration with folks to get this done. But here in Oakland, California, all over every city, to have just as well as they have different towns, Japantown, Chinatown, the whole. We need ours too, and
when that's not taken away.
Hey, and that's go ahead. Tell me about.
I was gonna say we tried. I was gonna say, we talk about it, and then I feel bad when we learn the history that isn't talked about a lot. And it's like, okay, well, fortunately now we're in a time of life where that's technically unacceptable to take it away from us like that. So I'm excited to be in a place where we can work towards doing that and getting it done and bringing this about, because it makes such a difference in our individual lives. I definitely have, I'm sure we all have our life experiences seeing the difference between when you have that community, when you have that support, when you feel seen, when you feel heard.
It's
when there's opportunities.
Different.
It's a difference versus feeling like you're,
I'm getting on their nerve. Or I'm just a number. Or my mental, my physical, my emotions, none of that matters.
Or the expectation. Or the, you don't know what you're doing. Like, like I said, I went to Oregon.
Or ain't nothing wrong with you.
I'm one of the few Black women in my class, maybe one of 2. If I'm lucky, it's a lecture hall, maybe 6. But
right.
The surprise when we have something intelligible to say, or it's just, I don't want to deal with the surprise. I want to deal with environments where the people will appreciate and respect the work that I'm doing, or like my identity. And
it's nothing. And I'm so glad you said my identity. And I work with, I am a teacher on special assignment at the Freedom School, Homies Empowering Freedom School. And identity is so crucial for our children these days, and just not only for our children, but for our family, for our people, for the whole everything is just. I have to continue to inspire people to be their authentic self and be who you are. I love that I'm a Black woman, but that came from my upbringing. It came from being inspired. It came from my father saying, say it loud, playing it, I'm Black and I'm proud. Him being a Black man.
4th grade class sang that song.
You see?
Black History Month presentation.
Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
One of my favorite songs.
Mine too. I know every lyric to James Brown
Like,
because my father grew up with a 6th grade education. However, he started his own business and was in business for over 40 years. So we, family, community, inspire the youth to be who they are, to be themselves, to find what makes them unique, extraordinary, and different. That's why I tell them with my nails. They're like, Miss B, you know, this is a conversation piece. People don't understand my nails is more than just my nails. My nails tells my life story. And also it's a conversation piece to the youth. And they're my most important folks that and you guys is that I'm youthful because of you all for the youth and for you guys, young adults. So but I teach them to be extraordinary, not ordinary. I tell them what makes Miss Howard different from everybody else. Your nails. Yes. What it looks like it's difficult for me to do certain things. Yes. However, what do Miss Howard does? She uses size. She makes it work. Whatever is going to make me be able to operate and do it. And I tell them, it doesn't matter for where you come from. And I tie it to lived experience is that, yeah, you may be at home or having a difficult time or not being able to have these certain things, but get around the resources, get around the people that's like-minded, do something, you know, I use my nails again to show the impossible is possible because God did the impossible in my life. I am a walking miracle. I am a walking miracle. I wasn't, as I shared at the Phenomenal Woman event, I wasn't supposed to have any kids. I have 2. They said, if you ever experience motherhood, they would be miracle babies. I have 2. And then my miracle baby just had a baby. So I'm a nana now too. So it's like, you can't tell me, this is absolutely time flies when you're having fun. But I said all of that to say, we have to make sure inspiring our youth today to do the work that you're doing. I'm going to bring you in and have you talk to my, to my babies because I call them my baby. I call y'all all my babies.
I love speaking with you. Actually, in college, I worked for Oregon's orientation. I hosted a Black student experience info session because I was like, you know what? I know it hit me hard this first year. Like, so let me go ahead and talk to them before they leave. And yeah, I think it is our responsibility. It's debatable. I was just gonna say, I think it's our responsibility. If I know better, then why wouldn't I help you do better? Yes. Like, I think it's so admirable too. Because while I understand, like, that might be my thought process with how crazy the world is. Yeah, I don't blame people for not having the capacity as much, but it means so much more when people do step up, do it collectively. How we all individually and as groups, communities, we all see the benefits of being there for one another, like helping, like not oppress somebody's our own community, like not intra-community oppression. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's crazy that you said that because I want to say this last thing is that I tell the youth, I am 59 years old. I will be 60 June the 21st, and it's the day before the Juneteenth. Yeah. But I said, because of my nails being different, people talk about me. Do my feelings get hurt? Yes, they do. But what do? I know, I remember the purpose of why I have them. And it's not for me. It's for me to make sure that every person's story is shared and that it matters. And it doesn't matter good, bad, ugly, challenging. Your story matters. And I tell them all the time, they're like, Miss B, you're grown. Will people talk about you too? I'm like, yes, they do. Absolutely. I said, but however, I have to push through and find a way to, like, hey, this is what makes me different, and makes me extraordinary. I'm not ordinary, never was, never will be. So, and I said the identity because that was a part of my problem in school growing up. Even though I heard it in home to be encouraged and who you are, I still have people that I loved and that I wanted to be. And I,
trying to be the right way,
trying to be the right way.
Trying to be, yeah, I understand that fully. I was what some would call a people pleaser a lot of my life. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm fortunate with the adaptability skills it gave me. Yes. But at the same time, I did colleges once again it forced me to be like, this is not serving you or the people around you. Like showing up not in my authentic self.
Right.
It might be fun in games for 5 seconds,
Yes.
but there isn't any lasting connection, any significance to bringing that to space. You know, like I'd rather I've told this to people. I understand code switching for sure, but the older I've been getting, I think the less it occurs for me. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna be my authentic self.
Yes, because
I'm gonna be my authentic self. But you know, time flies when we're having fun. I'm gonna have to have you back on, but I do want to
no problem.
Again, you have tuned in to Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel music station. The Eyes of the Conscious Soul brings to you with Sistah Mellow every first Saturday of the month. We have the Cafe Le Blue Lounge with my co-host, Mr. Rose Resinity. And then we have the second Saturday of the month. We have the Medicine Hour, Mr. George Pearson. And then we have the third Saturday of the month is Education is the Best Medicine, Mr. George Pearson again. And then we have the fourth Saturday of the month with my co-host, Prince of Hearts, the Doc, and the Voice. And we that's Straight Talk Youth and Young Adult Radio Show. And then every that's fourth. And then every fifth Saturday of the month, we have a new show that's called Voices That Matter. And we highlight reentry and mental wellness. But boy, I'm going to give you the last say. What are your parting words to our community? What will be your parting words? And then again, after that, give them your contact information.
Yes, no problem. I guess my parting words would be, whenever things feel too heavy, realize that organizations, individuals, groups, it doesn't have to be an org, it doesn't have to be an Inc. People need people. That's my, I guess, closing thing. As somebody who, you know, I'm trying to go to medical school. I worked in, you know, the financial district of San Francisco, had lived experiences. At the end of the day, the grind too hard, hustle culture, all of that is not going to fulfill you, you know, and people need people. And so being that person too, for people to lean on, I think helps. And if you need help or figuring out how to make that happen, feel free to come to my info session. April 7th. Okay. Downtown Oakland will help you learn how like to peep the signs and all of that.
That's right.
Yeah. And my contact information, once again, you can shoot me an email at IDA at cabwhp.org. That's IDA at cabwhp.org. Yeah, shoot me an email. I'm happy to connect and happy to connect people with other people, or if you'd like to meet about anything, or if you have questions about the mental health initiative that California Black Women's Health Project has going on. Happy to talk to you about it.
All right. Well, we want to say again, thank you. I want to thank my sponsors, Pastor Larry Austin, Elevate Gospel Ministries. And then we have Education is the Best Medicine. We have Barbara Howard Consulting. And then we have BH Brilliant Minds Project, Inc. I want to say thank you to our community. Thank you to the folks of Believe Radio that believe in us and allow us to bring the content to our community. We want to thank you, Mr. Adam and Mr. Curtis. And we want to thank you all for tapping in and tuning in. And please be safe. Have a good weekend. And we love you and we appreciate you all. And have a good night.